I always ask myself, how patient will Luka be with Mark Cuban, especially after this Kyrie Irving trade, where now everything is left up in the air. And in a way, this Kyrie trade is part of the Porzingis pivot in a way, because ever since they got KP, they sort of picked up the contracts of Bertans, and they had a lot of guys on the books on this team where they were eating a lot of cap space. And they're just 50-50 on quite a few guys. First of all, Christian Wood, he's an unrestricted free agent. He's probably more than likely going to leave the Mavs. I don't see the Mavs even offer him a deal, so his money will come off the books. And Kyrie is flip-floppy, so his $36 million is either going to come off their books or they're going to potentially have the opportunity to re-sign a star to put next to Luka during, I would say, Kyrie's latter years of his career. He's still relatively in his prime at the age of 31 now. And he does give Luka quite a good co-star, but in reality, the Mavs, they kind of had messed up because they had initially a nice co-star that would have came at a lot cheaper price in Jalen Brunson. So that's why I was asking myself, how patient will Luka be with Mark Cuban? Because there's been quite a few blunders. First the KP trade, and now you letting Brunson go for nothing equated you to getting rid of a lot of your wing players who are good three-point shooters, which leaves the Mavericks currently in a weird situation where their team is relatively too small. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. guarding large forwards. They're dead last in the NBA in rebounding. And even players like JaVale McGee, which they got him on a 3-year deal, but they can't really find minutes for him to be on the floor. It just seems like that's not working out. But the Kyrie trade does open up the Mavs to actually have the potential of signing a second star to this team to put aside Luka. But I was asking myself, why can't Dallas actually get free agents, at least top level free agents, to go there? No state income tax, relatively a decent size to large size market in Texas. I never understand how come Mark Cuban could never get guys to go play in Dallas out of free agency. But the thing about Luka, he is locked in until 2027. But we all know Luka, man, in a way, this guy could be making a fuss. We've seen him not shy away from arguing with front office people, even during games. But I'm wondering, how patient will he be with Mark Cuban? They're definitely going to have cap space if Kyrie leaves and if Christian Wood also makes an exit. But this team has a lot of other holes. They don't have a good perimeter defender, and they also don't have wings who could get a lot of defensive rebounds. It's a weird team, and they're just way too small. They even got smaller after the Kyrie trade. But Kyrie paired up with Luka Doncic, surprisingly, they could still keep up with a lot of teams offensively because of just those two. But the question that always comes to mind is, how come Mark Cuban can't attract free agents to Dallas? It just doesn't make any sense. Because the longer Luka is there, especially after making the Western Conference Finals last year, the more pressure the media should put on Luka to actually ascend this team onto the next level and be better than the season before. I don't know why, but Luka still doesn't have that pressure. It seems like that's like a thing they really just put on American-born players to win championships, because when you look at guys like Jason Tatum, they definitely putting pressure on him to win now. I don't know why the same thing doesn't go for Luka. But we'll see how Mark Cuban pivots this team to put Luka in a good position to chase after a championship from season to season. Because the first couple of years, man, it's been a hell of a struggle and a few strikeouts.